Hello my friends, this is Petru from Gulian technology. In this tutorial I would like to show you how you can check for the established connections on your machine. In my lab I'm using Ubuntu machine, Ubuntu 22.04, and I will use the Netstat command in order to check for the established connection. If I run the Netstat command, you can see that it is missing from my machine. In order to install the command, you need to run the command sudo apt get install net-tools and press enter. Let's wait for the installation to finish. Now, if we repeat the same command and add the --help, we can see a couple of options for the netstat command. I will start with the TCP connections. I will check if there are any TCP connection established on this machine. For this I will run the command netstat with the option -tn. I will pipe the output into the grep command to filter the output only for to see only the established connection. I will filter the output only to see the established connections. As you can see, I have a couple of connections, and they are using the TCP. I'm using the TCP protocol for this. Here we have the local IP address, and here we have the foreign IP address, the IP address of the web server to which I am connected. If you want to check for the UDP connections, you can run the same command, but instead of the -t option, add the -un option, and I will press enter. I have a connection which is using the UDP protocol. This is my local IP of my machine, and this is the IP of my router, which is also running a DHCP server. Port 67, UDP port 67 is the port of the DHCP server. So we checked for the TCP connections which are established and for the UDP connection. Now, if you want to check for all the connections, you can run the command netstat -a, and A is from all. Now if we run the command, we can see that there is a lot of output. We can pipe this output into the WC utility, which is word count, and specify the -l options, which is line number. So we can see that there are 977 connections on this machine right now. If you want to check for the opened ports, you can run the command netstat with the filter with the argument -l from listening, and I will specify T for TCP and U for UDP, and I will press enter. And I need to write the command correctly, and now, as you can see, we have a couple of opened ports on this machine. If I want to see the port number instead of the name, I need to add also the N option. Now we can see the port instead of the name. What else we can see? We can see which command is actually using this port, or each command has opened this port. For this I will add the -p process, the -p option, which stands from process ID, and I need to run the command with the sudo privileges. If I run it like this, I do not see the process ID or the program name, but if I run the same command with the sudo privileges, I can see the process ID and the program name which opened this port. As you can see on my machine, I am running an FTP server which is listening on port 21, and I am running a web server which is listening on port 18. What else can you do with the netstat command? You can use the netstat command in order to check the routing table for your Linux machine. For this you can run the command netstat -r. I need to write the command correctly. Here we can see the routing table of my Linux machine. I have a default route which points to my router, and I have the local subnet from which I have an IP address. My IP address on this machine is 192.168.1.185, which is part of this subnet, which has the subnet mask 255.255.255.0. What else can we check? We can check the kernel interfaces, the interfaces that are present on my VM. I have two interfaces, the loopback interface and the physical interface ENS33. The same output, we can see the same output with the IP address show command. So you can see here we have first listed the loopback interface, and second we have the physical interface. With the netstat command you can also check for statistics. We can see how many packets I received, how many packets I sent. So we can see the IP statistics, we can see the ICMP statistics, we can find here the TCP active connections and the statistics with the packets, the segments received, the segments sent. We can see the UDP packets received. So you can see the netstat is a very versatile command. Unfortunately, it is not installed by default on all Linux machines. If you want to find more about netstat, you can run the command man netstat. Here we have the manual page for the netstat command. If you do not find the netstat command, or if you are unable to install the netstat command, by default on all Linux machines there is the ss command with which we can achieve approximately the same results. If we run the command man ss, we can see that ss is a utility with which we can investigate the sockets. So in order to check for the established TCP connection, I will run the command ss-t. Here we can see that we have a couple of established connections. Here is my local address and port, and here is the foreign IP address to which I am connected, and the port. If you want to see the port instead of the name, you can add the -n parameter, and now we can see also the port. If you want to check for UDP connection, you can add ss-u and press enter, and if you want to see also the port, you can add the -n parameter. Now we can see that these are the TCP connections and the UDP connections. If you want to check for the listening connections, you can specify -l, t and u, L from listening, T from TCP and U from UDP, and press enter. Here we have the opened ports on these machines. On this machine we have the UDP ports, and at the same time we have the TCP ports. What else you can do? If you want to find more information about the foreign IP address to which your machine is connected, and if you want to find the geolocation of the IP address, you can run a Python script. Where we can find this Python script? We can find this Python script on GitHub. This is the page. I will share the link for this page in the video description. What we need to do is to copy the script, the Python script. Let me copy its content. Okay, I'm missing a line. I will copy the content. I will go back to my terminal. I will create a new file, tcp check tcp.py, and I will press enter. I will press the I key and I will paste the content of the script. I will press the ESC key, add colon and X to save the content of the file. Now it remains only to run the script. I will run python 3 check tcp.py. When you run the command for the when you run the script for the first time, you can find a similar error. This is because we are missing a module. As you can see, module not found. We have a module not found error. In order to install the module, to add the module, first we need to run the command sudo apt get install python 3.pip. I will run this command. Pip is a package manager for Python modules. After the package was installed, we need to run the command pip3 install and specify the name of the module which is missing. I will copy the name from here and I will paste it here and I will press enter. The installation was successful. I will repeat the Python 3 command in order to run the script and I will press enter. Here is the table of the established connections. Here we have the IP addresses to which this machine is connected and the port to which we are connected. I mentioned that this script also contains geolocation information for these IP addresses. As you can see, we are connected to these organizations which are located in these cities and in these countries. This is a very useful information if you want to find where to which IP addresses your machine is connected. You don't need to go and manually check for each IP address in a web browser. You can run this script and you have all the information in a nice, beautiful table. This is all that I wanted to share with you. Thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel and until next time, bye.